The air feels heavy with quiet anticipation, as if the entire world is pausing for a revelation that's just about to unfold. There are rare moments when something deep within you begins to shift, an inner whisper, a subtle pull, telling you that your energy is ready to realign, even if you don't yet understand how. This is one of those moments. Correct this intention and watch your manifestation accelerate with conscious vibrational alignment is not simply a phrase, it is a sacred invitation. It invites you to slow down, to listen beneath the surface of your thoughts, and to explore the silent space between what you desire and what you actually radiate. Every human being emits a current of energy, a living frequency that responds to thought, emotion, and action. It weaves the invisible fabric between your inner state and your outer experience. Yet, as we navigate through modern life, many of us lose touch with this rhythm. We chase results instead of resonance, outcomes instead of alignment, words instead of true vibration. Before we move forward, pause with me. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly felt aligned with what you were asking for? When was the last time your breath, your belief, and your body moved together, like instruments playing in perfect harmony? Manifestation is not a product of willpower or relentless effort. It is a conversation between your consciousness and the intelligence of the universe. You can affirm your desires daily. You can visualize with discipline. But if your vibration quietly says, "I'm not ready," the universe will respond to that frequency first. The universe listens not to what you say, but to what you are. Throughout this journey, we will go beyond words and techniques, and you will learn how to feel your intention in your body, how to sense the subtle vibrations of resistance that live in your chest or your gut, how to identify fears that disguise themselves as logic, and how to rewire energetic habits that quietly slow your progress. You will become fluent in your own energetic language, reading your emotions as guidance, hearing silence as a form of wisdom, and taking action that feels guided rather than forced. We will walk through science and spirituality not as two separate paths but as partners, the mind providing clarity, the soul providing direction. This introduction is not about offering promises or guarantees. It's about remembrance, remembering the natural state of creation that lives within you. In that state, thought and emotion dance effortlessly together. Desires are not chased, they are invited. Struggle gives way to alignment, and manifestation becomes a side effect of coherence. Take a deep breath now. Let the noise of expectation fade for a moment. You are not late, you are not behind, you are simply being called to refine your signal, to correct your intention, not because you failed, but because you are ready to resonate fully with the abundance that has always been waiting for you. There is a quiet fracture that lives within the modern seeker, a subtle disconnection between what we wish for and what we truly believe we deserve. It begins innocently. We learn about manifestation, about the law of attraction, and we begin to declare our desires out loud. I want peace, I want love, I want abundance. But beneath those words, in the silent chambers of our nervous system, another story is still being told. One of doubt, of impatience, of fear that perhaps the universe has forgotten us. This fracture between spoken intention and embodied vibration is the invisible barrier that slows down every manifestation. Imagine the body as an instrument. When it's tuned, it hums with clarity, and the music of your life flows effortlessly. But when a single string falls out of tune, the sound becomes strained. You might still play, but the melody carries dissonance. The same happens with intention. Your words can be pure, but if your body vibrates intention, the energy you send into the universe becomes distorted. The universe, like a mirror, only reflects the frequency you are sustaining, not the one you are trying to fake. This is why so many people say, "I've been manifesting for months, but nothing changes." The energy behind their intention is tangled in resistance. To correct intention, you must first witness the vibration that lives beneath it. The first layer is the mind, filled with rehearsed affirmations and ideas about how reality should unfold. The second is the emotion, the true magnetic field that shapes your energy signature. The third is the physical body, the vessel that stores old memories, inherited fears, and unspoken guilt. When one of these layers is out of alignment, your signal weakens. You might visualize abundance, but the body remembers scarcity. You might speak of love, but the emotion underneath is guardedness. The vibration says no while the words insist yes, and the universe, ever responsive, listens to the vibration, not the vocabulary. This disconnection often begins early. We are taught to suppress emotion, to push through pain, to appear composed. We are told that vulnerability is weakness, that surrender is laziness. Over time, this conditioning creates tension, an energetic armor that blocks the natural flow of life force. We begin to manifest from the mind, not from the heart. The mind demands, while the heart pleads to be heard. The paradox is that manifestation does not require more effort. It requires more coherence. Coherence is what happens when the heart and mind agree, when the thought of, "I am ready," meets the calm knowing of the body that says, "It's safe to receive." Think about how often you ask for something but feel unworthy of it. That quiet sense of unworthiness acts like static interference in your signal. It's not the universe denying you. It's the energy within you vibrating in contradiction. You can't attract abundance while secretly fearing you'll lose it. You can't manifest love while still believing you are difficult to love. The correction, then, is not external. It begins in awareness, an honest look at the frequency you are maintaining. When awareness grows, the frequency naturally begins to shift. There is a profound simplicity to this work. When you are aligned, manifestation feels effortless. When you are not, it feels exhausting. The question to ask yourself is not, "How can I make this happen faster?" but, "Where am I still resisting what I claim to want?" Sometimes, resistance hides in habits so subtle you barely notice them. Scrolling through distractions when inspiration calls, doubting your ideas before they're born, comparing your journey to someone else's. Each act of self-doubt slightly lowers your vibration. Each act of self-trust strengthens it. The process of realignment doesn't demand perfection. It requires intimacy with your own energy. This means slowing down enough to notice the tone of your inner dialogue. Are you gentle with yourself when progress is slow? Do you speak to yourself with compassion? Or do you use spiritual language as a new form of self-criticism? Many seekers replace old judgment with new, "I must stay high vibrational all the time." But the truth is gentler. Real alignment includes the full range of your humanity. It honors the waves of emotion without losing the current of awareness beneath them. To live in conscious vibrational alignment is to allow the body, the heart, and the mind to operate as one intelligence. It's to remember that energy does not lie, it only reflects. When you walk into a room in alignment, people feel it before you speak. When you pray in alignment, you do not beg, you commune. When you set an intention in alignment, you no longer wonder if it will work. You simply know that it already has. The correction of intention begins here, with radical honesty, with presence, and with compassion for the parts of you that are still learning to trust. Your manifestation will not accelerate because you have forced it to. It will accelerate because you have stopped contradicting yourself. The moment your energy becomes coherent, reality responds instantly. This is the hidden truth of manifestation that few talk about. The universe does not test you, it tunes you. Every delay, every silence, every repetition of circumstance is not punishment, it is feedback. It's life reflecting back the exact frequency you hold, offering you the sacred opportunity to refine it. And when you finally match the vibration of what you seek, the waiting ends. Not because something changed outside you, but because you have remembered how to sing the same song as the universe itself. When the mind quiets, when the breath deepens, when the body releases its guarded posture, a new rhythm emerges. That rhythm is your natural alignment, the original music of your being. In that harmony, there is no more chasing, no more proving, no more desperate asking. There is only allowing. And from that allowing, life unfolds exactly as it was always meant to. There is an invisible current that moves through every human life, one that can either carry us toward creation or quietly pull us back into repetition. Most people do not realize that their greatest barrier to manifestation is not the absence of belief, but the presence of resistance. Resistance is subtle. It doesn't always appear as doubt or fear. Sometimes it hides inside logic, responsibility, or even spiritual ambition. It is the quiet voice that says, "I'll try, but I don't want to be disappointed again." It's the tension that lingers in the shoulders when you affirm abundance while worrying about bills. It's the half smile that hides exhaustion when you tell yourself that everything is fine. Resistance lives in the spaces between intention and embodiment, between what you know intellectually and what you allow yourself to feel. When resistance becomes chronic, it drains the creative flow that connects you to the universe. You might visualize your goals, repeat affirmations, or meditate daily, yet still feel as though nothing truly changes. That's because resistance alters the vibrational tone of your energy field. Think of it as static on a radio channel. You can still hear the song, but the noise distorts it. Every fear, every moment of self-criticism, every belief that says I can't or it's too late, creates that static. The universe doesn't punish you for it. It simply echoes the signal you send. Correcting your intention begins with noticing where resistance hides. It hides in your habits, in the way you postpone joy, in how you measure progress, and in the stories you tell about what's possible for you. To understand resistance, you must first understand safety. The human body is wired to seek safety before success. When your subconscious associates growth with danger, rejection, judgment, loss, it will unconsciously resist it. This is why people sometimes sabotage opportunities that align perfectly with their desires. The mind says, I want this, while the nervous system whispers, it's not safe yet. Real vibrational alignment means teaching the body that expansion is safe. It means slowing down enough to reassure yourself that receiving does not equal losing control. True power does not come from intensity, it comes from calm coherence. There is also emotional resistance, the kind born from unresolved pain. Many people carry unhealed disappointment from times when they believed, trusted, and were met with silence. Over time, that silence becomes proof that manifestation doesn't work, when in truth, it was the universe waiting for alignment. Pain, when unacknowledged, becomes armor, and armor, though protective, also blocks light. When you say you want love but still carry grief from the past, the armor keeps you from receiving the intimacy you crave. When you say you want abundance but still carry guilt about wanting more, the armor keeps wealth at a distance. The path to alignment is not about tearing down this armor violently, it's about softening it with compassion until it willingly melts. Resistance can also disguise itself as control. Control feels productive. It convinces you that you're taking charge, setting deadlines, pushing outcomes. But control is simply fear in motion. It's the fear that if you stop managing every detail, everything will fall apart. The irony is that control actually delays manifestation because it communicates to the universe that you do not trust the process. The moment you release the need to control, energy begins to move again. Letting go does not mean surrendering responsibility. It means allowing life to meet you halfway. The universe cannot co-create with tension. It co-creates with openness. Another layer of resistance appears in comparison. When you measure your progress by someone else's path, you disconnect from your own frequency. Each soul has its own timing, its own rhythm of unfolding. The oak tree does not rush because the rose bloomed early. The sun does not compete with the moon. When you compare, you anchor yourself in scarcity, the belief that if someone else has received, there is less left for you. But energy is infinite. The more you celebrate what others manifest, the faster you align with the vibration of receiving. Gratitude and jealousy cannot coexist. One expands, the other constricts. Sometimes resistance is not emotional but environmental. The spaces we live in, the people we surround ourselves with, and even the digital noise we consume can reinforce frequencies of stagnation. The body senses everything: the cluttered desk, the unsaid words, the background tension of relationships that no longer resonate. Cleansing your environment is not aesthetic, it is energetic. Every object carries memory, every space holds vibration. When you release what no longer holds your current frequency, you create room for manifestation to arrive. The universe, like nature, fills empty spaces with life. There is also spiritual resistance, the kind that appears when growth begins to challenge your old identity. You start to realize that the version of you who once prayed for change must evolve to receive it. And sometimes that evolution feels uncomfortable. You might feel lonely as old friendships fade, or uncertain as familiar patterns dissolve. But remember, transformation often looks like chaos before it becomes clarity. The discomfort is not a sign that you're failing. It's evidence that your vibration is recalibrating to a higher level of coherence. Trust that the shedding is sacred. To correct your intention fully, you must approach resistance not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Each moment of resistance reveals what is still asking for love. When you meet your fears with gentleness instead of frustration, they begin to relax. When you stop fighting against the parts of you that resist, they transform. Manifestation is not about overpowering your inner conflicts, it's about integrating them. Integration means understanding that every version of you, past, present, and potential, exists within the same energetic field, learning how to harmonize rather than divide. Eventually, resistance gives way to rhythm. The same situations that once triggered anxiety become opportunities for alignment. The body no longer braces for disappointment. It opens to possibility. The mind no longer seeks proof. It recognizes patterns of divine timing. This is when manifestation begins to accelerate, not because you have worked harder, but because your energy finally flows without interruption. The signal is clear, consistent, and coherent. In the quiet that follows resistance, there is freedom. Freedom to choose thoughts that support your worth, emotions that honor your truth, and actions that reflect trust in the unseen. The energy that once held you back becomes the very current that carries you forward. You realize that the universe was never testing your strength. It was simply waiting for your surrender. And in that surrender, you discover that resistance was never the problem. It was the portal through which alignment was always trying to find you. There is a certain stillness that appears when your energy begins to align, a feeling that cannot be mistaken for excitement or anticipation, but something far quieter, more precise. It feels like standing in the center of a vast landscape where everything inside you and around you begins to breathe in unison. This is the frequency of alignment. It is not created by effort or intensity. It emerges naturally when every part of you stops fighting what already wants to unfold. Alignment is not an achievement. It is a return, a remembering of the harmony that has always been your natural state. Many people believe alignment means feeling good all the time, maintaining endless positivity, or silencing negative emotions. In truth, alignment is not about constant happiness, it is about coherence. Coherence means that your thoughts, emotions, and actions are vibrating in agreement. You can feel sadness and still be in alignment if that emotion is acknowledged, accepted, and allowed to move freely. The problem arises when emotions are suppressed or judged. Repression creates friction. Acceptance restores flow. When you stop labeling your experiences as good or bad, energy begins to move again. The moment you stop resisting what is, you reconnect to the intelligence of the universe that flows through everything. To live in alignment is to operate from the understanding that your outer world is not separate from your inner one. Every experience you have, every person you meet, is responding to the frequency you are broadcasting. If your vibration is rooted in fear, you will perceive life through the lens of danger. If it is grounded in trust, you will notice possibilities where others see barriers. This doesn't mean that alignment guarantees a life free of challenge. It means that challenges no longer pull you out of your center. You learn to meet them with clarity rather than panic, with curiosity rather than resistance. The frequency of alignment feels like clarity in motion. It does not rush. It does not beg. It does not doubt its timing. When you are aligned, action arises from intuition, not from pressure. You begin to act not because you fear missing out, but because you feel guided. You stop chasing signs and start becoming one. Alignment turns the world into a conversation rather than a test. You no longer ask if the universe supports you. You experience that support in real time. Yet, alignment is not a one-time event. It is a living relationship between awareness and embodiment. Each day you recalibrate slightly. The alignment you feel in the morning may shift by nightfall as new emotions surface. This is not failure, it is flow. The frequency of alignment adjusts as you evolve. The more present you are with your shifts, the faster you harmonize again. Awareness is your tuning fork. It allows you to notice when you have drifted from coherence and gently return. There is a science to this, though it is simple and sacred. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field measurable several feet beyond your body. When your thoughts and emotions conflict, that field becomes chaotic, disorganized. When they synchronize, when your thoughts are clear and your emotions supportive, the field becomes coherent. In that coherence, communication between the heart and brain strengthens, intuition sharpens, and your energy becomes a stable signal. The universe responds not to your words but to that signal. Alignment, then, is the process of refining your inner frequency until your energy transmits a clear message. I am ready. I am receptive. I am in harmony. This harmony cannot be faked. You cannot trick the universe with borrowed affirmations or temporary optimism. Energy does not respond to performance. It responds to truth. The frequency of alignment arises from authenticity, the willingness to be exactly where you are without shame or denial. When you stop pretending to be high vibrational and start embracing your full humanity, the vibration naturally elevates. True alignment is honest, humble, and whole. The world often teaches us to pursue alignment as though it were a product to earn, through courses, books, or endless striving. But alignment cannot be purchased or forced. It can only be allowed. It is not a new version of yourself you must become. It is the essence of who you already are when fear, guilt, and control are removed. Imagine a river covered by fallen leaves. The current never stopped flowing. It was only hidden. As you release resistance, judgment, and expectation, those leaves drift away, revealing the clear water beneath. That water, steady, reflective, alive, is your aligned state. When alignment deepens, synchronicities multiply. You begin to notice patterns. A friend calls at the precise moment you think of them. Opportunities appear in unexpected places. Doors open without forcing. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of coherence, the universe rearranging itself to match your internal order. What once seemed like chaos starts to make sense in hindsight, and what once required effort now happens with grace. You stop worrying about how and begin to trust when. But alignment also requires courage, for it will ask you to release what no longer resonates. You may feel drawn to silence when others crave noise. You may sense the end of certain relationships or routines. Letting go is not punishment. It is resonance correcting itself. You cannot stay in alignment while clinging to frequencies that belong to your past. This letting go is not about rejection. It's about honoring the natural evolution of energy. Every ending is simply an invitation for a new frequency to emerge. As alignment stabilizes, you experience peace, not as an emotion, but as a state of being. It is not fragile. It doesn't depend on circumstances. It is the quiet assurance that you are exactly where you need to be. From this space, creation becomes effortless. Manifestation ceases to be a desperate request and becomes an organic expression of who you are. You no longer say, I want to attract abundance. You become abundance in motion. You no longer say, I want love. You embody the vibration of love so completely that it reflects back to you everywhere. The frequency of alignment is not a secret. It is remembrance. It asks for no perfection, only presence. Each time you return to yourself, each time you breathe through discomfort instead of reacting to it, you strengthen the signal. The universe does not rush you. It waits patiently for coherence. And when that coherence arrives, it does not whisper or negotiate. It simply mirrors. Alignment is the moment you stop searching for signs and finally recognize that the entire universe has been speaking your language all along. Beyond the noise of human thought, beneath the patterns of logic and expectation, there exists a silent language that speaks through everything. It has no alphabet, no syntax, and no translation, yet it is perfectly understood by every soul that learns to listen. This is the language of the universe, a conversation between energy and awareness, between vibration and meaning. It is the pulse that guides synchronicity, the quiet order that arranges what seems like coincidence, and the echo that returns your every intention in mirrored form. Understanding this language is not about intellect, it is about resonance. The universe does not speak in words, it speaks in frequency. When you begin to align with this subtle communication, life starts to unfold differently. You notice how events connect with almost mathematical precision, how certain numbers repeat, how strangers deliver messages you didn't know you were waiting for, how delays that once frustrated you begin to reveal deeper timing. Nothing is random in the language of energy. Every delay, every encounter, every emotion is part of an intricate dialogue between your vibration and the infinite field that surrounds you. The question is not whether the universe is speaking, it always is. The question is whether you are still enough to listen. Listening to the universe requires a different kind of attention, one that goes beyond analysis. It is not about decoding signs like puzzles to be solved, but about feeling their resonance in your body. When something is meant for you, your energy expands. You feel a sense of peace, a deep knowing, even if logic cannot yet justify it. When something is misaligned, contraction appears, tension in the chest, hesitation in the breath, confusion in thought. These signals are not mistakes, they are communication. The universe is not external, it is the field you exist within, constantly responding to the frequencies you emit. The language of the universe is built upon reflection. What you see in your external world is not punishment or reward, it is resonance returning. If chaos surrounds you, it is not because life has turned against you, but because your internal vibration has become scattered. When you realign your energy, the reflection changes automatically. You cannot manipulate this language with words alone. It responds only to the truth of your frequency. You can speak of gratitude, but if your energy vibrates in lack, the universe will mirror lack. You can pray for clarity, but if your vibration is confusion, more uncertainty will appear. The language of the universe bypasses words entirely and moves in patterns of emotion, coherence, and attention. This is why presence is so powerful. When you are fully present, anchored in the now, you remove distortion from your signal. The mind quiets, the emotions settle, and the true vibration of your being begins to broadcast clearly. Presence is fluency in universal language. It says to life, I am here, I am available, I am listening. In that space, manifestation accelerates because you have stopped sending mixed messages. The universe cannot respond clearly when you are divided between past and future, between fear and faith. Presence aligns all timelines into one coherent now. The heart is the instrument through which this language is best understood. Science has shown that the heart's electromagnetic field is far more expansive than the brain's, capable of influencing energy around you in measurable ways. But spiritually, the heart functions as a translator. It interprets frequency into feeling. When your heart is open, you sense guidance effortlessly. You feel when to wait, when to move, when to trust. You begin to perceive the invisible choreography that supports your path. The more you live from this center, the more fluent you become in the language of the unseen. The universe often communicates in symbols because symbols bypass logic and reach the subconscious directly. A recurring number, an animal crossing your path, a dream that feels vivid and precise. These are all forms of communication, but their meaning is not universal, it is personal. The number 1111 might represent alignment for one person and awakening for another. The key to understanding signs is not memorizing interpretations, but asking, what does this feel like in my energy right now? The answer will always arise intuitively, not intellectually. The language of the universe is also cyclical. It repeats themes until they are integrated. You might notice patterns in relationships, finances, or opportunities that seem to replay over time. This repetition is not punishment, it is communication. The universe speaks in loops until coherence is restored. Once you embody the frequency of the lesson, the pattern dissolves effortlessly. Understanding this prevents frustration. It transforms repetition from a curse into a message. When you begin to trust this language, you stop forcing outcomes. You no longer see delays as obstacles but as sacred pauses for recalibration. You understand that silence is not absence but preparation, that every unanswered prayer is being rearranged in unseen dimensions before it can arrive in physical form. The universe always answers, but it speaks first in vibration, then in form. Patience is simply the time it takes for your energy to match what you have asked for. Living in harmony with the universe's language also means aligning your expression with truth. Dishonesty, even in small ways, creates energetic interference. When your words and your vibration contradict, the signal weakens. Truth strengthens your field because it carries integrity, the seamless unity of intention, emotion, and action. Integrity is not moral perfection, it is energetic coherence. When you speak and act from your truth, you move in rhythm with universal law. The field around you becomes clearer, stronger, more magnetic. Ultimately, fluency in the language of the universe is about surrendering the need to control the conversation. You do not need to chase meaning. You need only to listen. The more still you become, the more the universe reveals its patterns. Life begins to speak to you in moments of timing so precise that you can only respond with awe. You start to see that manifestation was never about forcing reality. It was about learning how to hear it speak. To live in this awareness is to live in constant dialogue with creation. Every breath, every thought, every encounter becomes part of a sacred exchange. You send energy through your intention, and the universe responds with reflection. This is not magic. It is the natural rhythm of existence. The language of the universe has always been simple. It says only what your energy already knows. And when you finally listen, you realize that the universe was never silent. It was always speaking in the only way it knows how, through you. There comes a moment, quiet and unmistakable, when everything you have learned about manifestation, resistance, and alignment begins to merge into one truth, that the universe was never outside of you. It was never withholding your desires or testing your strength. It was always responding faithfully to the signal you were transmitting. Every doubt, every fear, every act of surrender was simply part of the process of remembering who you are. A conscious creator woven from the same fabric as the cosmos itself. To correct your intention is not to rewrite your destiny. It is to remember your harmony. It is to recognize that the same intelligence that moves the tides and births the stars is breathing through you, guiding your evolution with precision and love. When you realign with that intelligence, effort dissolves into flow. What once felt impossible becomes natural, because creation is not something you do, it is something you are. You have walked through the layers of your own energy, the mind's stories, the body's memories, the heart's wisdom. You have seen how resistance is not a wall but a mirror, and how alignment is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of truth. The journey of manifestation is not about learning new techniques. It is about unlearning the noise that hides your natural frequency. When you release the need to control and simply allow coherence to guide you, reality shifts instantly. The world bends to meet your vibration, not your will. Now, as you stand at this threshold of remembrance, feel the stillness beneath your thoughts. In that stillness, the universe speaks your true name, the name beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond time. You are not chasing abundance. You are remembering it. You are not seeking love. You are becoming it. The universe is not waiting for your next request. It is waiting for your next vibration. And the moment you align with what you already are, everything you have ever desired begins to recognize you too. Before you leave this space, ask yourself one question. Are you truly ready to live as the frequency of everything you've been asking for? If this message resonated with you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel so we can continue walking this path of awareness together. There's always more to uncover, more to align, and more to remember. Continue watching the video on your screen right now. Let it guide you deeper into your own expansion. The universe is still speaking. Keep listening.